Okay, so for 10, 11, and 12, what we're looking at are if-else statements. And so what I'm going to do is make one video for all three of these because really, after you understand how this if-else statement works, then you can just copy and paste the information that you need from one program to the next. And so the first thing I need to make sure, so I'm going to look at program number 12. It says, if the bump switch is pressed, turn on the claw motor at a speed of 63 or else turn the claw motor off. If the limit switch is pressed, turn claw motor in reverse at a speed of 63 or else turn the claw motor off. Okay, so you need to make sure, first of all, that you have your claw motor set up in your motors and sensors, because otherwise, if you don't, it won't work. And that's true for the other two as well, because number 11, you're going to be using an LED, and number 10 is just using regular right and left motor. And then I have my Pragma code set up. Like usual, in order for this to work, it needs to be continuously looping. So I've got my whiles true. And then it says if the bump switch is pressed, in this case, I'm going to turn on the claw motor. For 11, it's going to be an LED, and for 10, it's just going to be a right motor. Else, turn off the claw motor. If the limit switch is pressed, turn on the claw motor in reverse, or else turn off the claw motor. So down here, I've got the program actually already written out, but I do want to make sure that you understand these curly braces and how to read it, because now we're getting to the point where curly braces can become confusing if you are not paying attention to how they are structured. And so this curly brace on line number 25 is matched to this closing curly brace down here for line 45. And so this is the open curly brace for the task main, and then this is a closed curly brace. Actually, I haven't typed that out yet. Closed curly brace for the task main. So closed for task main. Okay. And then here, while we've got this open curly brace, we need this closed curly brace for the while loop. And so these are actually, they're stacked on top of each other in the same column. So you can easily tell if you've got this structured correctly if you pay attention to your formatting. And then we've got our if-else statement. So if, and then we're going to be using sensor value for this. We're not going to be using until bump. And I find sensor value over here in sensors where it says variables, sensor value. There's really not a whole lot to drag over, so you can honestly just type it. But you do need to make sure you remember to include the open and close parentheses for your sensor value, because this is the condition for if being true. So if sensor value bump switch is pressed equals 1. So if this is true, I need to start the claw motor, or else this is not pressed, so it's a 0. And so if it's not pressed, we need to stop the motor. Same thing is true down here. If sensor value limit switch is pressed equals 1, then I need to start the motor, or else I need to stop the claw motor. Okay, so we're not using untils for this. We're using the sensor value because that is the condition for if the statement for if is true, and if it is not true, then we move on to else. And so that's how you complete 10, 11, and 12. You can just modify this code based off of what it is you want to accomplish.